Hello, I'm Terry Kolath with the Academy of Lifelong Learning at Shell Point. I'm here today talking with one of our favorite history professors, Adrian Kehr. And the last class in our summer semester with Professor Kehr is Jordan's Petra, Rose Red City, half as old as time, and Aqaba. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure, always.
Now, this class is focusing on one city in Jordan. Why is that city so important?
Most of us have a bucket list of things we'd like to see, the Taj Mahal, Paris, etc. And I think many people I've met have put Petra on that list because it is truly unique. The history of Petra evolved out of the control of water holes in what we now call Saudi Arabia or Arabia. So imagine that you're a traveler bringing in valuable goods from Africa, so ebony, ivory, frankincense, myrrh, and you're importing them into the Eastern Mediterranean. You have to follow well-proven trade routes, and you need to stop in Hotel 6 on the way, which didn't exist in those days, but you had to survive and you had to find water. So these travelers depended on local folk who knew where the water holes were and gave them hospitality. And if you wanted to cross Arabia east to west, you're crossing desert, so it was really important. Your survival depended on where the water holes were. And so the local Arabs built up a network of trading posts and water holes, and for a price you could share that with them. And these people we call today the Nabateans. And they control the desert from Jeddah up as far as Jordan. Controlled is perhaps too strong a word at this time because they were just traders and facilitated people trading. But with the income from the sale of information and for staying in their accommodation, they became quite wealthy. And if we now jump forward to the period of early Rome, they dominated the area of Jordan and even up into current Israel and attacked at one time Jerusalem, which then brought them into contact with the Roman world. They had a number of great kings over a period of about 100 years, super wealthy, and the center of their world, there are two centers, one in Arabia and this one in Jordan. The nice thing about Petra is it was cut out of the rock, so that it's actually hidden away in a valley and therefore protected from future civilizations. It lived under the shadow of Rome, and eventually Rome captured Petra and expanded it. So what you see today is the early Nabatean tombs, which are a rock cut. So these are red sandstone cliffs which rise in front of you, and you go through a narrow defile, narrow gorge, and suddenly it opens up and there's this beautifully rock-cut tomb for probably the king. We don't know because there's no writing left for us. And there are many, many wealthy people who want to be buried next door to the king. So there's a whole parade of these beautiful rock-cut temples cut out of the living rock, so to speak. And those people lived in that area. This was a thriving city of Petra. How do you do that in a desert? Well, when the rains did come, they had to collect it. That was his life-bringing rains. And they developed a fantastic series of collection areas, dams, little baby lakes, but more importantly, ways to transmit this water throughout the city. And you can actually see ancient 2,000-year-old gutters, which have been cut into the rock, where water will flow from the reservoirs very slowly down these gutters to the point where the people live. And they're effective today, and the fall rate is fantastic that you can be able to calculate that, all made out of stone. So the Nabateans eventually were conquered by the Romans, and so the Romans used it as their center of trade, naturally. Anything going north-south would be going through Petra. And so there are a number of great Roman remains there, and Greek remains, which are there to be seen. But most people will concentrate on the entrance because that's the hour and a half you have before the buses leave. Most people will go to Aqaba, the port of Aqaba, and then drive about 2.5 hours through the desert through Wadi Rum, which is a historically important area, to Petra, and there you will see dozens and dozens of buses belching out diesel fumes. You've got an hour and a half, 2 hours maximum, and it's good fun going down because you go down the valley to the great tombs. But coming back is a challenge, and people have to sometimes pay for a horse and cart to take them back up to the top of the hill, and then get in the bus and then go home. So you've got 2 hours or so. If you are more interested in Petra, you can easily spend 2 days because the valley goes on and on and on, and there are many more temples and much more to be seen. So if you're going to go to Petra, do spend that extra day or so and see the whole thing.
Will we see some photographs?
You will see photographs of the main temples and historical aspects of it, and some wonderful geological formations, both from Nabatean times and also from the Roman times. The challenge, of course, now is that everybody wants to go to Petra. And it's now becoming overpopulated. There are so many buses, and there's a throng of people, and they're all nudging each other. And now you can hardly see the tomb entrances because of the thousands of people there. So you have to pick your time. If you go in the afternoon when the buses have gone, then that's when you've got it to yourself. So there's a way around this.
So if going to Petra is on your bucket list, this is your opportunity. You only have to go as far as the social center on the island, and it is Monday, July 30th, with Professor Adrian Keir.